and we're going to be going through Bitcoin. We're going to be doing a technical analysis, looking at the fundamentals and cryptocurrency in general to see exactly why it's here to stay and how it's the future of our financial ecosystem in 15 to 20 years time. Okay, so before we get started, I'd like to humbly request you guys to start raving in the comments, smash that like button and hit that subscribe button as well. Okay, it's really going to help me create more videos on a daily basis and just provide you guys with as much value as I possibly can. Okay, so let's get started quickly. I want to start off by saying we had a huge bull run in 2018. It reached about $20,000, and then after that it dipped back below again, and it reached huge lows here in January 2019. Okay, after that it went back up again, and even now people were sort of buying into it and they saw the value, right? And they're reaping the rewards at the minute. But of course we've had a huge bull run now, and this video is going to be about why this bull run is different. Okay, so first of all, it's all about these institutional investors. Okay, the financial world is seeing what Bitcoin is and they're buying into it as well. So you can see that on CNBC, this article about a company on the stock exchange, Square, they've bought 170 million worth of Bitcoin. Okay, $170 million worth of Bitcoin. Okay, so you can see these companies are starting to back it. Tesla, $1.5 billion worth of investment. Elon Musk is a huge cryptocurrency fan and he's a huge supporter of it. So much so that he's managed to convince his board of directors at Tesla to invest 1.5 billion worth. Okay, so if you see that companies like Tesla investing into it as well, you can see that there's some backing behind it. Another huge example is the COO of Twitter is considering paying their employees in Bitcoin as well, and you will see this become a trend with a lot of these companies in the future, just because cryptocurrency adds more security to a transaction. It makes transactions quicker, so a lot of internal processes within these big financial institutions will be converted in some way or another to smart contracts, to cryptocurrency in general. Okay, so we've got Square, we've got Twitter getting into it, we've got Tesla getting into it. Another huge one, JP Morgan. So JP Morgan, big Wall Street names are getting into cryptocurrencies. Okay, so if people and companies like JP Morgan are getting into it, then you know for a fact that Bitcoin is going to be making some big moves, as it has already. It's not going to come back down to the levels that it was. We've missed that boat. Okay, but what we can do right now is get into the right cryptocurrencies now, do our due diligence at the minute, because the way I believe crypto is at the minute is what the internet was like in 1995. In 1995, people did not know what the internet was, what sort of capabilities it had, and no one even imagined that you'd be using the internet like we are now in 2020-21. Okay, so what we wanna have a look at is we need to remember that this is still early days, and if we get into the right cryptos at the right time, we could be making huge financial gains in the future. Okay, the next thing, insurance companies. Insurance companies have a huge amount of capital, and even these guys, right, are choosing to invest into Bitcoin as well. 100 million into Bitcoin. Okay, Mass Mutual. Okay, so these guys are investing in it as well. Okay, next we've got PayPal. PayPal are going to enable users to buy, hold and sell cryptocurrency. They have 26 million merchants. Imagine all these merchants integrating a crypto option. Okay, if they integrate a crypto option, the mass consumer will have no choice but to integrate it into their lives as well. They'll be looking at cryptocurrency, they'll be looking at it, they'll be buying it, they'll be using it for transactions on a day-to-day basis. Okay, when that happens, just imagine the price that Bitcoin will get to and the price that all these other altcoins will get to as well. Okay, so there we go, another solid reason. Next thing, Coinbase. Okay, everyone knows Coinbase, how big the exchange is. Coinbase had an IPO. The IPO was evaluated at $100 billion, and even then, according to this article, they're saying that they didn't accept that and they're going for a direct listing on the stock market, just like Spotify and Palantir. Okay, so they're thinking that is valuated even more than 100 billion. Okay, so you can see that even on the stock market, people that are actually buying stocks and companies see the value of Bitcoin in general and see the value of an exchange like Coinbase. Okay, quickly I just want to get into as well this infographic here. I feel like it just in a glimpse it shows you exactly why crypto is so important and how it can be the future. Okay, essentially it's going to work at reducing costs. Okay, everything's about improving efficiency. That's what it's going to do: improve speed and efficiency. It's got true traceability, it's got enhanced security, better transparency. Okay, and this all comes from it being a blockchain and from it being decentralized. I'm not going to get into what those words basically mean, but essentially you get all these benefits. Okay, there's less hacking threats, there's more accessibility, it's easy to track. Okay, it saves energy. Okay, it takes less time. So we're just gonna get a lot of financial benefits from blockchain in general. Okay, and this isn't even talking about sort of smart contracts. Smart contracts will mean that we can completely cut out the middlemen when it comes to legalities and commercial law and all that sort of stuff. We can completely cut the middleman out of it and just get things done as quickly and efficiently done as possible. Okay, the next thing I have here for you guys is a Visa as well. Okay, so Visa, absolutely huge company, right? And pretty much every financial transaction that happens most likely has something to do with Visa, right? If you're using a credit debit card, most credit debit cards are Visa or MasterCard. Right now, if Visa is adopting crypto as well, if we can get crypto to be used on such a massive scale with the mass consumer and be getting Visa with financial statements talking about calling out for crypto partners, then we know that it's going to be something big in the future. It's here to stay and it's just going to get bigger and bigger. Okay, so this article talks about how Visa wants to take up the development of certain stable coins and just invest in them as well. Okay, and integrate them as part of their platform. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is the comparison between fiat currency and cryptocurrency. So we've got an article here talking about almost a fifth of all US dollars were created this year. So that means that any money that you had within the bank is able to control how much your money is worth. That means that if a fifth was created this year, your £10,000 in the bank or dollars in the bank will have decreased in value by 20%. So that $10,000 is now equal to $8,000, right? So you've got to think of it like this. With blockchain, with Bitcoin, we get rid of all these issues, okay, where the government and these big financial institutions can control how much our money is worth. Okay, and this is all because Bitcoin has a limited supply. There is only 20 million Bitcoin in the world, right, from the day it was created. Now 18.5 million around thereabouts has been mined already, and essentially supply is going to keep decreasing, okay, until there's none left. Afterwards we would just trade the Bitcoin that's there, right? And essentially no more can be created. Okay, so that alleviates the issues of the currency getting devalued. Okay, and the demand's only going to increase just because of all the things that I've mentioned in this video already. Okay, so we can see exactly why Bitcoin isn't going to be coming or crashing down or dumping anytime soon. Okay, there will be some fluctuations, but it's just our job to get in at the right moment and invest at the right time. Okay, so now let's have a look at the charts. We'll be doing a top-down analysis. I've got some resistance and support lines here, so you can see I've got a support / resistance here where it broke that, tried to establish it as support, didn't work, and then resistance, and then finally it's gotten past it. Okay, so if we go into the daily, we'll be able to see this a little bit more clearly. So on the daily, what you can see is happening, we had some more resistance here at the, so we had some more support here at the bottom. With this support we went up, and there was some resistance here at the top. It broke that resistance and climbed straight up. Okay, we've got some resistance here as well that I've dotted on. Okay, now on top of that, I've drawn this Fibonacci retracement starting from this support region here, just because this is the current era of Bitcoin we're working in. Okay, so this is what I wanted to highlight, and within that I've put in that golden zone that every sort of currency is most stable at, the 0.5 and the 0.618 zone, and you can see it was tested here a few times, and it did get resisted, okay. And then once they broke past it, then it's tested as support, then went back up, and then we've got this new sort of support here, okay. Now what I see happening in the future is I do see it coming down below and hitting this region over here right at the bottom of the 0.618, because it still hasn't been truly tested. And you can see that line corresponds with this this resistance line here as well, where here at this all-time high at this moment in time in January, this region hasn't been tested properly as sort of support, okay. So you can see the you can see how it would come back down and test this region of support here, and when it does, then hopefully it'll go back up again, okay. What I want to do is I'll go to the 4 hourly, and I'm going to show you some more technical analysis in a little bit more detail, and hopefully this all makes sense, okay. So what I see happening at the minute is a head and shoulders pattern. So essentially what I mean by this is we have a shoulder, okay, we have the head, and then we have another shoulder developing, okay. So you can see essentially these shoulders are next to each other. You've got the head, and then this is seen as the neck, okay. So what this means is normally it's going to be headed back down to form the rest of the body down here, okay. And the way we can see how much it'll go down is by measuring the distance between the head and the neck, essentially, okay. So if we put that there, and then if we move this down below, starting from that neck region that we highlighted out, you can see it corresponds to that golden zone that we drew out before, okay. So here it is due a retest in the next correction, where it will hit back off this zone according to this analysis over here, okay. And you can see that plays out as well, and you can see how that sort of works with this that I've drawn, okay. Right, so the next thing that we can look at is the opposite of this happening, so an opposite sort of head and shoulders pattern here, okay. So we can see a shoulder there, we can see a head here, and then we can see another shoulder developing here, okay. So if we take another measurement for that to see where it could come along, we start from here and go towards the neck region, and then we can see where it's going to be headed in the future, okay. So you can see if we just position that there, it's going to be going past this zone and testing this area here at that all-time high, okay. So if it tests this region at the all-time high and breaks through, then we're going to be looking at another potential huge bullish momentum for Bitcoin, okay. But right now, if we're going to mark down the paths, let me show you what I see happening at the minute, okay. So we've got 3 scenarios in my opinion. One is that it will come down, test this region, okay, and come back up, okay, and then try and break the support region, then come up again, and then try break that and come up to this point here. The next thing that I see happening is scenario B, where it comes down, this isn't enough support, goes up slightly, then comes back down, and then tests this all important point. This is the main point. Once our correction tests this area here and we can establish this as support, this is where I feel like we'll be getting our proper bullish momentum, and we can firm this area as a write-off basically, and for Bitcoin to just be moving upwards from here, okay. So we've got those 2 scenarios, and then the next sort of bearish scenario that I'm going to be talking about is this happening. So we've got this here, comes down, and then it doesn't establish as a support, and then comes right the way back down, and then where it would come back down to is most likely this region here, okay. So we can see that happening, but in my opinion it's most likely going to be scenarios 1 or 2. okay, and then during this time, essentially from here and here, our altcoins will be pumping up as well, okay. But essentially the whole point of this video was to show you that there's no need to panic with Bitcoin. It is going to be here. I really don't see something like this playing out. If it does, then just buy more, because the sort of the best advice that I can sort of give with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general, when it drops, don't panic, just buy into it more, okay, because it will go up again, and then you can just cut out your losses when it goes up, okay. So thank you very much for watching. Again, like I said, if you just like and subscribe, it would really help me out, and just let me know what you think about all these videos that I'm producing, any tips that you can give me as well, any improvements that you feel like I need to be making the videos as well. What sort of coins do you want me to analyze for you as well? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll try my best to get to them as well, okay. So thank you very much for listening, guys. Cheers, bye.